Hello everybody, I'm Morgan and welcome to Spellbound Seams. Today I'm going to be showing you how I turned these old black monitors into this beautiful white and pink monitor setup. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking masking tape and paper and I'm adhering it to the screen only. Don't do the rim around your screen, the bezel part, don't do that. And you're going to protect your screen from the spray paint with this. So make sure you have every bit of those papers covered with tape. I missed a spot of tape and I got spray paint on my screen. So be careful during this part. Then after that, I took a kitchen scrubby, the plastic rough ones that are good at getting hard gunk off, and I scrubbed the surface of the monitor with that to make little micro cracks for the spray paint to seep into so it adheres. And you're going to want to blow the dust off from that afterwards. I also covered the serial information and my inputs with masking tape as well to protect them so they don't get gunked up and brick my monitor. So just be careful and be mindful during this process if this is something you do. Something else that I would be more mindful of as far as early on is I would probably take off the back panel of my monitor and I would cover up the vents so that spray paint is not getting inside and onto the machinery. I am not having an issue right now and I'm editing on these monitors right now, but I would just be more careful because you never know. With equipment that's expensive as this, you'd rather be safe than sorry. So that's just my one change so far. So I'm checking the dry time on this paint. That is always something you want to do when you're using spray paint. This says a few minutes in between coats, and you want to do coats. That's how you get it a nice looking product. So make sure to do thin coats and make sure the spray can is a ways away so that you don't get wet spots or drips. And also check the dry time on your can to see when the paint will be fully cured. I did not do this, and you will see later on how that became a problem. You can also see that there are ants crawling around and bugs hopping onto my wet paint, which is never a good deal. So make sure that you have a nice, clean, elevated space to do painting, and make sure that you have a surface that is not going to adhere to your paint. That I think is also important. So I didn't do that, and this is where it became an issue. So I have wet paint on poster board right now. Well, not currently. If I had just let this cure and dry for 24 hours, it probably would not have been a problem. But I wanted to go fast and I didn't want to be too patient, and so I had waited 20 minutes, which is the time it takes for this to be dry to touch but not completely cured, and then I flipped these screens over onto their front. And this is poster board, so it's a paper product, and this was a huge issue because the wet, well, not wet, but the uncured paint stuck to the paper part of the poster board and it tore off onto it, and I had to try to recover and clean off as much of that as I could. But see, the fronts are currently uncured and down on a paper product. So that was a huge mistake that if I were to do this again, I would let the paint fully cure on the front before flipping the front and doing the back. And I also definitely would not have used poster board. I would have used something sturdier that's not going to tear off onto my monitor just in case. So, lesson learned. Now, even though I did make rookie mistakes, I do think this project turned out great in the first place, and if I had thought about this more thoroughly, I definitely would have changed a few things, and I think it would have turned out a lot better. So I think I've named most of the mistakes that I made, so you don't have to make the same ones. But overall, like I said, I think this project turned out great. Looking at my desk right now just makes me a lot happier than it used to make me. It looks more cohesive and more inviting and more like somewhere I want to be. So overall, I'm really glad I did this. And even the spots where I made mistakes aren't all that noticeable. Like right there where the spray paint line is, you can hardly see it unless I'm looking at a white web page. It doesn't really show up, and I still have the opportunity to get rid of it if I can just figure out how. So overall, I would 10 out of 10 do this again, and I'm so happy with the results. So just learn from my mistakes if you plan on doing this, and be careful and cognizant during the process. And that is everything that I have for you this video. Hopefully soon I will have sewing videos up like I always intended. I'm just waiting on figuring out how to film those with the equipment that I currently have. I had a post about that, but other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you disliked this video, give it a thumbs down, please. And leave me a comment letting me know why you didn't like it. I am always looking to improve. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye!